Hello, and welcome to another episode of Aphantasia Experiments. I think I might actually post this on Psychic School as well. That's my other podcast that I don't really use as much. But I'm planning in this episode to do some 2024 predictions because it is almost the end of 2023. It is December 22nd, and I'm picking my kids up early from school today because it's early dismissal. And so I'm going to have my kids home for 2 weeks, and I'm not going to be able to podcast, and by the time I come back, it's going to be a new year. And I thought, hey, why don't I do a New Year's predict 2024 kind of thing? So I'm going to get into that, hopefully. I wanted to share a couple things with you. So I said on my last podcast I was going for a job interview. I got the job. Exciting stuff. I will tell you more about it in the future, but it's a job in compassionate care. And that is basically exactly what I wanted. I wanted to do something meaningful with my life and help people and work with my heart. And I found something. So I haven't started it yet. I start in the new year, but I'm throwing that out there. I feel like, I came from a background in marketing and design and publishing. And I'm not saying that's like a soulless job or anything. It's important. I mean, books have to be read. They don't have to be, but books are something that live on forever. And designing them, putting them together, there's value in it. So it's not like the last 20 years of my life, 15 years of my life has been wasted, but I got to a certain point where I was like, this is not who I am. And maybe it was who I was at 23, but it's not who I am now. The experiences you have in life change you and mold you into the being that you're supposed to be, or like the things that happen throughout your life change you, or make you realize who you truly are and who you always have been, but you've been putting on like a mask or whatever. So in the last 3 years, it's just hit me so hard that I'm supposed to be working with people in a compassionate way. Like it's just, I don't know how to explain it other than like I need to lead with my heart, and that for me is not sitting on a computer designing stuff for clients or designing books or marketing books, even though there is value in that. So if you're working in publishing and you're like, I don't matter. Well, you do, but things in life change you. And there's unexpected turns in life, and we're just supposed to go with the flow of it. And just know that if things don't feel like they're working out, it just means that there's stuff going on in the background that you don't know about, and it's going to be fine. 2 months ago, I was sitting there writing down like my wish list of things I would do for work, and just like feeling so lost, so lost. I do this podcast and I talk and I vent and I ramble, but I don't really talk about that, like feeling like I was doing something for so long, and then all of a sudden I was like, I hit a wall. I can't do this anymore. I can't be this person anymore. I have to like figure out who I am, find my soul. And so that's what I've been doing. And I really feel like I'm at this point where I'm like, this is it. I'm in it, It's exciting. And it's only going to get better. I think. Anyways, I'm reading this book right now. This is totally off topic. It's not at all what I was just talking about, but I'm reading this book. It's by John Holland. I read a book of his before. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So I actually say the right name of the book. It's Bridging Two Realms. Okay. I'm reading it. It's good. In the first chapter, he's talking about how there's certain parts of the world that have a thinner veil. So the book is talking about like how to communicate with loved ones who have crossed over and stuff. And it's talking about how there's certain places that are, the veil is thinner, like churches, places of worship, sacred places throughout the world, pyramids. Like, there's all these places that are the veil is super thin, so if you want to communicate with loved ones who've crossed over or whatever, it's easier to do that in those places because the veil is thinner. I find that really interesting for a couple of reasons. I don't actually know what the couple of reasons are. Why did I say a couple of reasons? So I feel this really a lot. 'Cause some days I feel like I'm like walking around, I'm just this human being, I'm not a spirit, like I feel like I'm in this material world, blah, blah, blah. And then other times I'm like, I can feel things so strongly. And maybe it's the location I'm in, or maybe it's the vibration that I'm putting out. I don't know. I think it's a combination of both. But I want to tell you a little story about something that happened to me. I think I've told this on the podcast before, but after reading this book, it gives me new insight into why and how it happened. So when I went to England and Scotland when I was 14 or 15, first of all, we visited Stonehenge, which I think is one of those sacred spots, like where the veil is thinner. I remember feeling a lot of things there, and I remember seeing a bunch of sheep and being like, or lambs. This is so random. That has nothing to do with anything. But I saw a bunch of lambs, and I felt so connected to these lambs that I said, I'm never eating a lamb again. And my parents made lamb often, but I felt so deeply connected to these lambs that were by Stonehenge. I don't know why. And I don't even know if they were close to Stonehenge or not, but I just remember seeing these lambs when we went to see Stonehenge, and I was like, lambs, I love you. Anyways, random. So when I was in England, we stayed in this cottagey place. I don't know how to describe it other than that. Like a very, very, very old English stone house. Like, it was made of big stones. I'm sure there's a word for that. But it had like greenery on the outside, like ivy? Is that what that is? I don't know what it's called, but like green. It was so beautiful and so like charming, and there was just something special about this place where I just felt like there wasn't buzzing in this house, and the energy was palpable. Like, I could feel it. And I told my brother and sister at the time, because I was having the craziest dreams when I was there, I was like, can we do Spirit in the Glass, something to like call on whatever? And my brother, I don't remember what my brother said, but my sister is not a believer at all, and that's fine. But she shot down the idea right away, and that's fine. But I feel like if I had done some sort of like spiritual connection, then I would have been able to get messages so clearly, because I could feel it so much. When I was there, I had a dream. I've told this story before. I had a dream that I was in my best friend's pool, and I had a kid on my hip, my son, like a boy on my hip. I knew it was my son in the dream. And at the time, I was only 14 when I was having the dream, so it didn't really make sense because I didn't have a boyfriend. I didn't have anything. Like, I wasn't sexually active. It didn't make sense that I would have a kid. And then, like, things changed. Things changed in a couple of years. So at 17, I had a baby, and by 20 or 19, I was in my friend's pool with this 2-year-old kid on my hip, and all of a sudden I had this flash of like me being in England, waking up to this story, this dream, and being like, what the fuck was that? It all like came to me like, I dreamt this before, I've experienced this before. And I think that we have that a lot in our lives, like deja vu moments. It's the ones that you really remember that really fuck with your mind, like in a good way. Like this, it makes me realize how connected everything is and how much our dreams really do share information with us and help us. Dreams are not just like random whatever. There's meaning behind them, and oftentimes they predict things. So highly recommend you start a dream journal. I didn't have one back then, but those kind of dreams, I feel like certain types of dreams really stick with you. And that was one of them. I've had other dreams that have stuck with me too. And I'm always sad when I wake up in the morning and I don't have a dream. Today I woke up with the song in my head, and it was so loud I couldn't get back to bed. I don't know if you ever have this, but this is something that I'm sure I've talked about before, but developing your own like psychic toolbox. Whenever you get a song in your head, write it down in your phone or make a playlist on Spotify or Amazon or whatever you use. And then listen to the music and see how you feel, like see what the feelings you get from that music and the lyrics, like read the lyrics, see if there's any hidden messages in the lyrics, and also see if there's any connection to all the songs that you have in your head. Like, so if you have, for a week, you have all these different songs come in your head, write them all down, and then see if there's any sort of connection to them, because oftentimes there's some sort of message that's trying to get through that's really loud. So the song that I had in my head was Rude by Magic, I think. The line in my head specifically was, say yes, because I need to know. This whole song is about a guy proposing to or asking for the father's permission to propose to his daughter, and the guy's saying no. But I don't think the song was in my head because someone's gonna propose. Oh my god, this just hit me. My friend literally just texted me. Oh, I gotta text her back. It's just, when you make connections on the spot is so funny. I don't think it's someone's going to propose. I think that it means that I need to say yes more to stuff, because in the last few years I've been kind of hermiting. I think because I needed to do a lot of meditating, I needed to do a lot of like soul searching and stuff. But in this future, in 2024, and I believe like what's coming through for me is that a lot of people feel the same way, that I think obviously it started with COVID, like a lot of people hermited. But 2024 is the year of like coming out again and like connecting with people and changing things and making differences, and not just like hermiting. So that's what I think the song is about, because I woke up and I had a flash in my head to the book Year of Yes, which, by the way, if you haven't read Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, especially if you're a Grey's Anatomy or whatever, all the other shows, the amazing shows she has, if you're a fan of any of those shows, 100% read this book. It's so good. It was actually one of the things that started me off on like my spiritual journey. This is not about talking to ghosts or dead people or whatever, but same thing, I guess. It was more about like finding myself and like finding joy, which honestly, like when you start reading like self-help books, there's like the similar theme, right? And you can go down a rabbit hole of that, but that rabbit hole sometimes can lead to like a spiritual side of things, and it's often honestly intertwined. But I'm definitely gonna read that book again, and if you haven't read it, how many times did I say definitely? I would absolutely recommend it. It's a great book. It just feels, holy crap, definitely is my like word of the day today. It feels like, it just feels so inspirational, and it feels like it makes you want to do more. Shonda Rhimes talks about how she was kind of hermity, and she would often say no to things because she's a bit of an introvert. So she got invited to like dinner with the president, and her like initial reaction is no. And I feel like I'm like that too. Like I get nervous, right? You get anxiety to go places, whatever. And so I say no sometimes, but I should probably just say yes. So with my new job, I'm excited. They invited me to like a holiday party, and I haven't met anyone. Haven't started working yet, but I'm going. It's out of town. I'm going, and I'm going to meet people, and this is like the beginning of my say yes journey, because it's happening in 2024. But I think that was what I got from that song. Like that was what came through to me. But my friend texted me before I started this podcast. She texted me and she said, I have this feeling that your son's going to propose to his girlfriend. And I was like, oh shit. Not that like I love his girlfriend. She's wonderful and amazing. And funny fact, she actually has aphantasia too. Random, right? My son doesn't, but his girlfriend does, and then my husband does. How weird is that 3 people have aphantasia in like this small group of people? Makes me think that way more people have it than you really know. But it's funny because my friend texted me and she was like, I have this feeling that Hunter's going to propose to his girlfriend, whatever. And then I was like, it just hit me that song is about like asking someone for permission, hand in marriage kind of thing. and not getting it. So I wonder, like, is my son gonna ask his girlfriend's dad for permission? He's gonna say no. Maybe that's something. I don't think he's going to do it, but I'm sure it'll happen in the future. They're still young, but they're kind of being held back from, not held back, yeah, kind of held back from doing stuff because her family is religious, and that's totally great and wonderful and perfect and grand. Perfect, maybe not the right word, but for my son who's like had other girlfriends before and, you know, gone on vacation with them and stuff, now he's in a relationship where he can't do those things. They can hang out and stuff, but they can't have overnights, they can't go places, and so it limits them, right? So as a mother, I worry that, you know, he's going to rush into getting married young because then he'll be able to experience life with her. But I also, like, I want him to, like, experience his life in his own way, and my worry isn't going to help him at all. So if he wants to propose to his girlfriend tomorrow, I will support him in that. I don't necessarily think it's the greatest idea because I think they're too young, but I had a baby at 17, so who am I to judge, right? Maybe it would be wonderful. Anyways, they're not getting married, but it's funny that song was in my head, and then my friend texted me, like, they've been together 2 years. Maybe it's a thing. I think my son would tell me, though. Anyways, what else do I have to talk about today? I'm going to pull some cards to do a bit of a future 2024 reading here, because I don't really know what else to say. What else do I want to talk about? This is good, actually. I read a book by, I'm not going to remember the name, but if you just Googled Nurse Hadley, it'll come up. So Hadley, again, I don't even know her last name. This is terrible. But she is a hospice nurse, and she wrote a book, and it's really good. It's not, like, overly spiritual or anything, but it talks a lot about, like, what happens when you die, and, like, the miraculous things, like people who have either deathbed visions, they see their loved ones. That happens all the time. Not all the time, but often, okay? And the other thing is Alzheimer's patients, dementia patients often get terminal lucidity. So, like, right before they die, the days or hours before they die, they often, like, will remember stuff, know who their family is, know everything, and then will die shortly after. We don't know what causes that, but the book talks about it, and it's really good, and it's really heartfelt, and you can just feel the love from her. Like, she's just a beam of love and light, and the book was so good, so I just wanted to recommend that. Why did I say that? Well, because I wanted to recommend it, but there was something else I saw of hers on TikTok, and I've kind of adapted this method to my own life. She talked about how she wakes up in the morning excited because, and she works with death, right? So, but with that comes a lot of heartfelt, beautiful moments. So she said she wakes up in the morning happy, excited to see when her next beautiful moment's gonna come. So she posted this TikTok, and it was like she just went through her day with all these beautiful moments, and it was so inspirational to me. So I'm trying really to live that way and to just be like expecting the next beautiful thing. Expect wonderful things to happen, and then you can be like, look at this wonderful thing. And also, like, recognize that wonderful things happen all the time, and we kind of just, like, are walking through life and not seeing any of it, you know? Here's an example of a wonderful thing happening. I'm just spreading amount of cards here. This morning I was really upset. I don't know what it is about the holidays. I'm usually pretty level-headed, but I've been really emotional lately. And today I was like, I need to get out of the house. I'm gonna go to the gym. I went to the gym, I went to the steam room, and then I left. And as I was driving to the store, I did buy some last-minute Christmas presents. I was so emotional, and I just started bawling on my drive for no reason. You know, maybe not everyone gets this, but I do. I get emotions, and fun fact, scientific research says that when you cry, it releases like a stress hormone, so it actually makes you feel better. So crying is not a terrible thing. Don't hold in your tears. Let them out. If you're scared to cry in front of people, cry in your car, cry in the shower, cry somewhere. But let it out, because it actually helps overcome things and feel better. So don't feel bad about crying. So I was crying, and I also feel like when you cry, so there's two sides to this. When you cry, when you're upset, your loved ones really try to like lower their vibration to come to you, but because you're so upset, you often don't see it. So I think that's why your loved ones will try to sneak into your dreams on those times, like when you're really upset or like just feel lost or whatever. They can often come to your dreams to like encourage you or make you feel better. The other part to that is, I don't know what I was just talking about. The dreams. Sorry, this is my dog's barking in the background, so it's distracting me. Oh yeah, so I was driving the car. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was driving the car, crying, and I was just talking out loud. I was like, my ancestors, my loved ones, everyone I know was crossed, my higher self. I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but I need a sign. I need something. Like, I just need something to happen. I'm like, can you play a song on the radio that makes me feel better or uplifted or like supported, you know? If you don't talk to yourself in the car, I highly recommend it. So I'm just talking, and I look over and there's a guy staring at me. I'm like, whatever, I could just be talking on the phone. He has no idea I'm talking to myself, but you know, you have those moments that are like, oh my God, or when you're singing in the car. I did that too. Anyways, so I'm saying this, and I pull into Marshall's parking lot, the store I was going to. I hadn't heard anything on the radio. I turned the radio on. I had been listening to this book. I turned the radio on, and it was just commercials. So I was like, okay, I'm not getting my sign right now, and that's fine. So I go into Marshall's. I'm looking around, so I don't know why my dog is barking so much. She's not that much of a barker. You hear that? You can't hear it. What the fuck is she doing? Sorry, it's driving me crazy. So I go into Marshall's, I get some stuff, and then as I'm leaving, there's a man playing the guitar. Like what's it called? When you panhandle? There's a guy outside the store playing the guitar with his guitar thing there, wanting money, whatever. But the song he's singing, holy fuck, I gotta deal with my dog. Sorry, I'm going to go upstairs with this phone, so you might hear barking, was You Are My Sunshine. So he was singing, You Are My Sunshine, my only sunshine, and you make me happy. And I'm like walking away from this man, just bawling. Like, it's busy parking lot. I'm like, oh. That was the song my grandmother used to sing. And I'm like, of all the songs in the entire universe, that song means something to me, and he was singing it, and he looked me in the eyes. It was like he knew, you know? He knew. It was like he was an angel sent just for that moment, you know? So there's one of my beautiful moments of the day. Beautiful moment. Sorry, that's the door. I went all the way upstairs. My dog was totally fine. I feel like it was just an Amazon delivery guy. She does not like those guys. And there's a lot of them at Christmas time. A whole lot of them. Okay, I'm going to pull some cards because I think I'm going to make this a shorter podcast. I think it's 23 minutes already. I don't know. Okay, let's see what we got here. For 2024, what do we think is going to happen in 2024? If you have a prediction that you want to send to me, do it. My email is rofocreative@gmail.com. Also on my website, AphantasiaExperiments.com, I have a section on my website under experiments where I have a couple parts that you can share stuff with me. It doesn't matter which one you share on, just share your experiences with aphantasia, share your experience with your psychic development, share your predictions for 2024. Why not, right? Let me know what you think is going to happen in 2024. Before I pull a card, one of the things that I was getting really strong the other day was, and this is not a positive thing, it's a negative thing, but I think there's going to be a lot of storms in 2024. And what I mean by that is like a lot of environmental anomalies, like really weird environmental things. I know we're like going through a global warming, and that's probably like just normal stuff. But when I saw, so was it like a week ago, there was a bunch of tornadoes in Tennessee, and I was watching this and I was thinking, this isn't normal. Is it? Is this normal for like this massive tornado to happen in December? And the thought I had was like, this is just the beginning. Like, we're going to go through these like wild hurricanes, storms, tornadoes, like just wild environmental shifts and things. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but it came to me so strong. And something I've had in my head for the last like year and a half, it's a song that plays in my head. It's not a song, it's made up, but it says, don't forget about the storm, the storm, the storm. Don't forget about the storm, the storm, the storm. And that just plays in my head. So I feel like there's a storm coming. I don't know. Every time there's some sort of weather thing, I'm like, is this the storm? But then I get like that lyric again in my head. So I feel like there is a storm coming. And I think it just means that we need to like be protected, like, and be aware that weather and stuff can change, and to kind of be prepared for anything, I guess. Okay, sorry, I haven't actually pulled a card yet. That was just one thing. And the other thing was like a lot of people are going to be coming out of this like I said it before, like the hermiting stage, the stage of like finding yourself and like rediscovering who you are. If it hasn't happened already in 2024, you're going to lean into that more. You're going to, find yourself more and feel more comfortable in your skin and be able to project yourself into the world in a more positive, more uplifting way. Like showing up. You're going to show up more for yourself and for other people in 2024. You're going to be more social. You're going to have more things to attend and more opportunities. That's what I'm getting. 2024. It's been like a 3-year like dark phase. I'm thinking like 2020, 2019, 2020, like when we were going through the COVID stuff, that like trickled over to the last 3 years. Yes, we went back to work. We started doing things more normally again. We stopped wearing masks, whatever. But this like solitude, the experience that we had during COVID, being at home with our family, being sheltered, being almost trapped, right? Like, I love my family, but spending that much time with them, I was like, oh my God, get me out of here, I think that those moments and that challenging time has made a lot of people reflect on their lives and realize what's working, what's not working. And for the last 3 years since COVID happened, a lot of people have been reassessing and sitting with their feelings and emotions, sitting with this like feeling of, okay, I'm here on this earth, but I'm not on my right path, and I need to figure that shit out. So figuring your stuff out often takes retreating. I think of like the card in tarot, the Hermit. Is it the Hermit card? So I'm just saying Hermit a bunch in this episode. I think about that. It's like you do that to rediscover yourself, or like to get to know yourself. And that's an important part of life. If you're always out, partying, whatever, if you're out doing stuff all the time, you're working, 9 to 9, and then you go home and you do this and blah, blah, blah. You're constantly moving. You're never going to really stop and be like, who am I? How often do you look in the mirror and be like, who are you? Or like talk to yourself, or like get to know yourself. And if you haven't done that in years, if you didn't do that during COVID, I think 2024 is going to be a time where you're going to start doing that, reflecting on your life a little bit more, and making some changes. Maybe everything is rainbow and butterflies and you don't need to make changes, but I feel like a lot of us have been stuck, and there's a shift coming. It's like an inspirational shift. And a storm. I don't know. And I wanted to put some positivity there. Okay, I'm going to pull, 3 cards. First card I got was fulfillment of wishes. So if you have in 2023, if you've been like, and this is another thing, okay, it's saying fulfillment of wishes. So if you want to make some changes in your life, if any of this is resonating with you, you're like, I've been a hermit for the last 3 years, I haven't really gone out and done anything, I want a new job, I want new things, I want a new career, I want a child, I want a new husband, I want a new family, whatever it is, write it down. Because it's saying right here, we're going to get our fulfillment of wishes, okay? And I know when you talk about like manifesting and stuff, it can often sound like so crazy, but I'm telling you, every time I've actually written down what I want, it is materialized. That's not true. I really want an iPad with Procreate. I haven't got that yet. But anything like career-wise, relationship-wise, like with my husband, who I love dearly. When I said the husband thing, I hope no one thinks that I want a new husband because he's amazing. I was frustrated with him recently, and I was talking to my guides about it, and I was like, I really want him to see my perspective of this and like come to me in a more supportive way, because he's super supportive, but he's not great with emotions, so he can come off a little cold, even though his like intentions are completely warm and wonderful. Anyways, we had this conversation about, money and stuff. I'm not working currently, I'm just doing freelance, so it's concerning. Like, we have a mortgage, whatever. We have 4 kids, really. And he knows that I'm like in this phase of finding myself and whatever, and he's been really supportive, but it's also like, okay, we need money. But I just wanted him to approach it in a more supportive way, and he literally did. The next day, I was like, who is this person? This is exactly what I needed from him. And he showed up for me in this beautiful way, and I was like, thank you. All I had to do was ask. I feel like a lot of times we think that people are like stuck in their ways or whatever, and if you can ask your guides, your ancestors, and their ancestors, their guides, to help, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to like change the person, but if you want something out of them, like more support or, more love or whatever it is, you need to like meet them, like match that vibration. You need to be a supportive person. If you want to you want your husband to hug you more, why don't you hug your husband more? You know what I mean? Like those kind of things. If you want, your kids to be nicer to you, you have to actively be nice so they see niceness, right? So they mimic that behavior. I have no idea where the fuck I'm going with this. But the point is, if you want your wishes fulfilled, write that shit down. There's this thing, you can Google it. I've watched a couple things on it, but Nikola Tesla, another book I read, very fascinating. It's free on Audible if you want to read it. The Nikola Tesla, it's his autobiography. It's like the Book of Inventions or something. Very interesting man. He would visualize everything he invented and have it like perfectly created in his mind and then he'd be like, well, I know it works because I have it in my mind and I can do that. It just made me want to visualize so much more. Where the fuck was I going with Tesla? Oh, yeah. Okay, so for manifesting purposes, I don't know where this came from, but there's this theory with the numbers 3, 6, and 9 in the triangle. Oh, I'm not going to explain this properly. But if you want something in life, the key is, from this theory, is to say it 3 times. No, wait. Oh, no. 3 affirmations, 6 times, 9 times a day. Is that, or 9 days? I don't know. Google it because I'm not getting this right, but it's like you have to say it out loud 3 times, but 6 times a day for 9 days. I think that's what it is. That might be completely wrong, but it's this like concept that we actually have to ask for things. And sometimes it takes asking more than once. So just throwing that out there. If you don't feel like life is going your way, start talking to your higher self and to your guides and ask for shit. Telling you, ask for it. You are an important person who deserves wonderful things. Start asking. Telling you it works. Telling you it works. It works. Okay. Limited wishes. Base chakra, that's the root chakra. We all need to work on our root chakra this year. It's something that's come up for me a ton. I did a lot of work on grounding in the first half of the year, the second half of the year, in the summer and fall months. I'm totally not grounded now. I need to like get back into it, but I hate the cold, so I haven't been going outside to ground. But like connecting to your root chakra, there's other ways you can do it. So working on that, connecting, because you need to feel like you're in your body in this world. It's important. Sacrifice. I've gotten this sacrifice card so many times. The person on it almost kind of looks like me. It's weird. Like long brown hair. It's a very generic picture. But I got long brown hair. She is in this weird position. She's got a rainbow coming out of her, and there's flowers all around her. It doesn't look like she's really sacrificing anything. She looks really happy, and she looks like she's like creating this magical world. But I think I'm just gonna pull another card to deal with this because I don't really know. Oh, that's funny. I got suffering in silence. And maybe that's what it's been. The last 3 years you've been suffering in silence, and now you've like made this sacrifice of who you are supposed to be for so long, and now you're ready to dive into this version of yourself, this beautiful rainbow infused version of yourself. Stop suffering. Speak out loud. Because if you're silent and you're brewing in your mind and you want things and life isn't going your way, you're suffering in silence, start actually talking about what you want in life instead of just suffering. And then the next card I pulled was hope. And the card is like this glowing light in someone's hand, and there's a picture of like a man in the middle of the glowingness, but it represents hope. I mean, duh. Like, believe there's something more. Believe that there's magic. Believe that life is working for you, not against you. I think that's a really important thing that people need to understand. The life is like what you make out of it. And if you don't ask for things that you want, if you don't take action towards your goals, if you don't do those things, then life is going to seem miserable and bleak. But if you can stop suffering in silence, make some sacrifices to change your life, connect to your base chakra, life's going to be great. And that's your destiny. That's my last card. I pulled the destiny card, which is a woman multiplied a bunch of times in a circle. Basically, it just means that we're different versions of ourselves throughout our life. I'm looking at this. This is what I'm getting from it. And the version that you're supposed to be is your destiny. And this version of yourself can only come from taking those steps, leaning into yourself, getting to know yourself. And if you haven't in the last 3 years tried to get to know yourself, that's what 2024 is going to be for you. And for those people who have gotten to know themselves, 2024 is going to be magical. And the people that haven't got to know themselves, it's going to be magical for you too, because getting to know yourself is really magical and wonderful and beautiful. I think that's going to be all for today. I don't even really know what I talked about, so it should be interesting to listen back to this. Anyways, I hope everyone has a wonderful... I'm sorry, I didn't talk about aphantasia at all today, although I did mention Nikola Tesla, and I feel like for people with aphantasia, it's a really good read, because it explains a lot about his visualizing, and also he talks about, in it, how he would, when he was visualizing, it would start with I think this is what it was. It would start with like a bright light that was like flashing, and then it would he could build other stuff after that. It was like he was entering this astral plane or whatever. And this is something that I get when I'm in really deep meditation. I'll get either like flashing lights in my mind or patterns or something. And I don't know if it's what he was doing. I think his was more intentional. Like, yeah, obviously had a really good imagination. Anyway, so there's my aphantasia component. Nikola Tesla did not have aphantasia. There you go. That's it, I guess. Have a great, wonderful, amazing holiday. I probably won't podcast till after the break, and I am going to be starting a new job. I do plan on still doing this, though. I think that the new job, I'm going to be able to share a lot of really interesting experiences. Hopefully, if not, whatever. But it's going to be a new journey in 2024. If you feel like emailing me or contact me in any way, please do so. It's rofocreative@gmail.com. I am behind at answering some emails, so if you've emailed me recently, I'm sorry about that. I will get back to you. But every time I get an email, it brings me so much joy, so don't ever feel like, oh, she's too busy, don't email her. I might not get back right away, but I will read it, and it will fill my heart with joy and love. So please go ahead and email me, rofocreative@gmail.com, or go to my website, AphanTasiaExperiments.com, and leave me a note on there. Also, you can subscribe to my newsletter. I don't actually have a newsletter yet. Full disclosure, I have that up there to collect email addresses to start an email address, or to start a newsletter eventually. I just haven't really figured out what to do with that. I feel, oh my God, I'm going to talk more now. Jesus. Sorry, guys. I feel like with spiritual stuff, you go through this like spiritual awakening, and then you're like, you want to work in something spiritual, right? You want to work. So I start this website. I have my tarot readings on there that you can purchase, but I feel like all of these different spiritual podcasters or spiritual people, everyone has like a funnel system where you go on their website and it's like a funnel and it takes you to buy something. It's like, I'll teach you how to be intuitive for $6,000, whatever it is. I don't feel like that's my purpose on this earth, is to like do a funnel system where I have to like convince people to buy stuff off of me. If you want to get a tarot reading, great. If you want a meditation off my website, great. But I don't want to be a funneler. And it's nothing against people that do that. It's just, I feel like that's not me, and I don't really know what to do with my website yet. I get a lot of traffic. I don't know what to do with it. So if you're someone in a field where you're like, I know what you could do, shoot me an email. Because I always have the greatest ideas for other people, but for myself, I get stuck. So I'm always open to hear from other people, how you think I can monetize my website, how you think that, what the future holds for this podcast. If you have show ideas, just let me know. That's it for today. Again, thank you for listening. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, happy all the things, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever. Happiness all around. Spread the joy, spread the love, and I'll see you next year. Have a wonderful, amazing, fantastic day.